Welcome back. This is lecture 5.4. So the fourth chunk of lecture 5. And here we're going to talk about the bulk modulus. So this is the three-dimensional analog of the Young's modulus we talked about. And so it's actually going to be just like the Young's modulus, isothermal, right? We talked about the thermal coefficient of thermal expansion last time, beta, right? This is B. So now what we're thinking about is how does the system pressure change if we or the volume change if we change the pressure, right? So the volume is going to go to V plus delta V. All right, so how's the volume change if we change the pressure? Okay, so just like before, we're going to have dV. That's what we're looking for. It's going to be normalized. We're going to have minus 1 over B dP. So compare that to your equation for the Young's modulus. So our equation for the Young's modulus was L over A, right? So that got out our volumetric factor. So, sorry, it was delta L was 1 over Y, L over A, so that was that part, delta F. So now pressure replaces force. Okay? So our bulk modulus tells us when we, so let's actually rewrite it in terms of the bulk modulus, defining it, right? It's minus V partial P partial V at constant T. So the bulk modulus really is a measure of how hard it is to compress a material. Its units, well, look, we have volume and we have volume, so its units are going to be Newton per meter squared. Okay, or newtons per meter squared, another way to say that is pascals. Great. Okay, now one important thing is that when you increase the pressure, if partial P is positive, then partial V will be negative. If you increase the pressure, something's going to contract. Right? So partial P, partial V is always negative. Hence this minus sign makes our B's positive. Sometimes it's easier to think in terms of the isothermal compressibility. Like how compressible is something? And that's simply the inverse of B. So kappa is defined as 1 over B. I generally think about kappas instead. So for scale, do a few materials. I think we did copper before. Let's do copper again. So copper. Kappa is 7.5 times 10 to the minus 12 newtons. Sorry, because it's 1 over B. Its units are meter squared per Newton. So this is near room temperature, of course. So this is going to be temperature dependent. So let's do mercury. How compressible is mercury compared to, say, copper? Is it compressible? Well, it's 3.8 times 10 to the minus 11 meters squared per Newton. So it's a lot more, almost an order of magnitude, more compressible, say, than copper, right? Makes sense, it's a liquid. Now do water, and it's 5.1 times 10 to the minus 10 meters squared per Newton. And so you can see really that water is 100 times more compressible than, say, copper. So this is going to have important repercussions. You know, this compressibility is going to be a measure then again how much energy I'm going to have to put into something, how much work I'm going to have to do to compress it, and then hence how much energy it can store. And that's going to have important repercussions in a lot of fields. And we'll talk about that more later. Okay, so now we have the tools we need to define our three-dimensional equation of state for a material. So that's going to be the last section, 5.5, in this lecture.